Greetings. What's up? Danny reporting here. I'm just doing a little video here as I chill here with Crazy Cow. Funny looking animal. I rest him here sometimes when I'm getting to the point where I'm dizzy from staring at a computer screen. I just stare at Crazy Cow and I don't feel too bad. Anyway, so I'm just gonna do a little video here on the drum loops that I use and what I make out of them versus using Maschine, which you can use Maschine as well, and the simplicity of using Maschine and creating patterns, in which is a no-brainer. I mean, pretty much you have Maschine here. I don't know if you can see this, but you have the pattern thing flashing on Maschine, and pretty much you're just creating patterns to create a basic drum roll. You can, you know, let's say you do something like this here, or you can, you can switch it up. You could go this way. I don't know if you can hear it. You just create different patterns. With Maschine, you can also add, let me put my glasses on here. You can also add, if you want, some delay, beat delay. Let me just clear that. You can mess around with the delay, create different things. You can add filters. Let's see here. You can add something like a filter. Okay, very very simple to create different snares. You can get more advanced than that, add different filters and stuff, and of course there'll be a bass line going, boom, 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 along with a snare, of course. And that's pretty much with the Maschine. You're just you're creating the pattern. You just pretty much press some buttons here. You can offset it a little bit. Okay, so that's using Maschine. That's a very quick example. Now, if you go into Pro Tools here, we'll quit Maschine. Quit Maschine. Discard that. Okay, so I'll give you an example of a snare that I used for a part of my song, which is even more simpler than I just created. But I explain it's not what you're taking using a drum loop, it's what you create out of it. And I'll show you what I mean by that right here. As soon as Pro Tools loads up, it's taking a while. Come on, you could do it. Come on. Alright. No. Alright. Okay, so this is my song that I of course use keyboard to write. I have the Universal Audio Apollo, but I'll show you specifically in this song here. There's a breakbeat in the middle of the song, if I can find it. Okay, let's see here. Here it is. Okay, so this was the original. Hold on. Sorry about that. Alright, let me mute everything so you can see what I'm talking about. Except for that one part of the snare that I use. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Alright. So, this was the original snare. No. Let me delete the delays I have. FabFill, come on. Here we go. Okay, the original snare sounded like this. No, sorry. I have so much on top of it that I have to. $25, $26. This is the original sample. Okay, this is the original snare. Very, 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 very simple. I could create this on machine, what people would be deeming to be just real, using just a machine and creating your own in about 2 seconds. Creating that pattern. It's very, very simple. Okay? But now you're taking this and you're turning it into this. Okay? You're going from that, this, and turning it into this. Major difference. On top of that, adding one delay, I added another. I added the EP34 tape delay, which gives it additional effect, which in the end sounds like this. You're gonna hear pretty much the beat that the simple snare converted into a whole different beat, and then you're gonna hear a really analog, crazy like tape delay panning from one side to the other. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick it up through these speakers, but it'll sound something like this. Okay, so basically we went from this, once again, Went from this, which anyone can make. You'd have to have a monkey's brain not to be able to make this, which is a drum roll that I use to cut out having to go into Machine, open it, make it, close Machine, go back, because I don't have Machine hooked up to Pro Tools. So I chose, you know, it saves time, you know, so once again, adding my own creativity, going from that to of course, I added more snares on top of that. So basically, that's, you know, there's you know, some more mixing to be done, but regardless, whether or not you use a drum loop and place it in a song, it doesn't mean you're not being real. It doesn't mean you're having other things, other people do the work for you, or what have you. The ability to make drum loops, snares loops, very simple on machines. Some, you know, I have to go through a whole nother thing to get into Machine, shut Pro Tools down, get into Machine, create the snare, import it, close Machine, open up Pro Tools, bring the import into Pro Tools, then add delays. It's a whole other process when you can just take a simple, minute drum loop that you could have created yourself anyway, and then make something out of it that is not even remotely like it. That's where the creativity comes from. That's where the actual work is. Making something out of it that it wasn't totally not, you know. So I just want to just do a quick video. I mean, the comparison would be, you know, you have a Ferrari, right? And you're saying, well, look, that Ferrari has an engine. That they're biting off cars that have engines. Engines have been around, you know, for years. They have an engine too. They're copying. No, they have an engine, but it's a Ferrari engine. There's a little bit of a difference. You know, if I was using Machine and actually making the beats, oh, you know what people would be saying? People would be saying, well, he's not playing drums. I don't see drums anywhere. He's not playing the drums. And if I was playing the drums, people would be saying, he didn't make those drums. He needs to go hunt some pigs and get some pigskin and build him some drums. That's the real way to do it. People are just, whatever I do, people are just gonna go the extra mile just to downgrade me, and we all, people that know that that's not it is. That's just a whole bunch of jibber jabber. But I just thought I'd post this video. You know, all the tracks I have that I created, I had to convert into audio tracks. So yes, I do have audio tracks. It's not like I took audio from another site and put it into Pro Tools. You do that with some of the drum loops, but you also do it when you convert things. Like this is a kick. And of course, like for that breakbeat, you know, I created the pattern to it because here are the notes. Here are the notes to that to that. Those are all the notes. That's the pattern of the breakbeat in the middle of the song that I created. But since I'm still working on 32-bit Pro Tools 10, I have mad amounts of tracks. So I even had to convert the kick to an audio file right underneath here to save memory. Because, you know, with what I use to create the kick and the plugins, it just takes up a lot of memory. So I had to do that with everything. I had to do that with the string notes. Here's a string note. Those are all the notes that I played with the keyboard. Now I had to create that into an audio track, which is right underneath. I didn't take that from a program that someone else was playing. That's me playing the notes off this keyboard, creating it into an audio track right underneath there to save memory so I can keep adding other tracks. And that just, I mean, it's good to do. It could be bad. It could take away from the dynamic sometimes, but then you can slightly EQ it to make up for that. Sometimes you can't really tell at all. It doesn't really mess with the dynamics or anything. But you know, I just wanted to post this video because, you know, it's not. As I said, I do what everyone else does. I've heard, you know, not to downgrade anyone, but I've heard long segments of songs that you could probably get from websites and drops and everything, and I don't even do that. If I take a little drum loop and then create something crazy out of it, that's where the work comes in. If I use a drum loop to put on a kick, period, it doesn't mean that I can't create that loop. You know, some of these drum loops, they're nice and crisp. You know, they're fully compressed, and you know, it's where you put them, how you put them in there, what you add to them, compression and everything, additional compression if needed, EQing, because some loops are just ridiculously, you know, have to be EQ'd because a lot of the highs are going all the way up and almost clipping, and then you need them at a certain level, you know, to be able to hear with the kick drum, and you got to EQ it down some of the highs, otherwise if you can't raise it up to hear, so you got to EQ some of the drum loops. But that's besides the point. You know, as I said, I do what professionals do. I have the Universal Audio Interface, the Apollo, which a lot of people are using right now. If you go to universalaudio.com and see their plugins, I mean, they have plugins that were actually and are still actually hardware machines that, you know, are close, if not same, to having that hardware. And you know, that's what I use. You know, I can probably assume there's probably not, or there's probably some a matter of backlash from big studios that might be a little upset that, you know, maybe they're losing people that are using wanting to buy studio time because people have the availability to buy the interface, which is not cheap, and then just you know, pretty much do everything on their own. Although some people with the larger studios actually love it. So it's either or, but going back, you know, anyone can make a drum loop, you know, pressing pads on a machine, which I still even do, you know, at times. Or, you know, if you hear a nice crisp snare drum loop and you have an idea of, wow, that's nice and crisp, I'm gonna add my own creativity by making certain delay settings, and or adding 2 delays, doing different things. That's where the creativity and the real work comes in, not from a simple I mean, you know, I mean, you can't, there's no comparison. But hope this was informative to you, and me and Crazy Cow here say goodbye. Adios. Woo.